What's a plot twist that is so bad it ruins the entire film? Birth, a movie about a kid who knows everything about a woman and claims to be her husband who died, so a reincarnation story. Then at the end they just go, oh, just kidding, I unburied your journal and read everything about you. So not only does it take away from the whole plot, but it also makes you realize the movie is just about a kid, like 9 years old, who lies to get with an adult woman whose husband died. They kiss and take a bath together in this movie. Any twist where the entire movie is a dream. Fuck off. Ironically, the only time I think it actually worked, for me at least, was Click, because a twist that bad really only works as a joke. I think it can work if it's planned and built into the movie and works with the movie's themes. Something like Click or It's a Wonderful Life or The Wizard of Oz can get away with it pretty well. But just doing the twist for the sake of the gotcha is lame and boring. I'm already watching a fictional movie telling me its fiction isn't a twist, it's just lazy. But when it carries an impact on the corrector and how they act going forward, it can work. Hancock is a great film with a terrible film stapled on halfway through. Was going to say this. The first part of Hancock was such a unqui take on the superhero genre, then it felt like an odd romance religion type spin. Spectre, where Christoph Waltz was behind every bad thing that ever happened to James Bond. You'd have to be a 5-year-old to believe that crap. Not to mention that Blofeld and Bond are now actually brothers. A plot line that was stolen from Austin Powers 3. Anything in the 90s where the hero has to die at the end for literally no reason. I'm looking at you. Pay It Forward? My grandparents put on Pay It Forward for me when I was like 6 years old and asked them if I could watch a movie. I was not prepared for it. Almost any film where the ending is surprise, it was Aliens. It just feels like they wrote themselves into a corner and decided to use a deus ex machina and called themselves clever. The changed ending to I Am Legend greater than, where Will Smith's character sacrifices his life to save the other survivors. Instead of the proper ending from the book, which was the point of the whole story, that they filmed but reshot, where Will Smith realized that to the mutants he was the monster. These mutants weren't monsters, but the mutants were now the dominant and rightful inhabitants of the planet. Less than. I didn't know this was supposed to be the ending. It is so much better and more meaningful than the one in the movie. The ending of the book is perfect, and that's the entire title. The main character realizes that greater than I am legend. I'm the bogeyman that attacks them in their sleep. That hunt them down. Less than. It's perfect. Never read the book, but damn does that make the title make so much more sense. Transformers 5 with Mark Wahlberg. When he stops those big robots with one arm sword from beating on Optimus Prime. Previous films already established Optimus as the chosen one, but now some human, absent in the first 3 films, can now stop an assault from skyscraper-sized robots with one arm. I can forgive almost any logic to do with Transformers. The complete suspension of disbelief break for me was the idea that an angry Texan father is going to hear Romeo and Juliet law and suddenly not beat the shit out of her daughter's boyfriend who he believes is a pedo. The ones that come out of nowhere. Like a great twist should be subtle enough to where it shocks you in the moment, but then looking back you see the clues leading up to it. Like a magic trick. A good twist you see coming, but will second guess yourself at least once. Like a well-known magic trick with 2 possible outcomes. A decent twist you see coming a mile away, but fits the story well enough. Like a common, overdone magic trick that can still be a bit fun. Bad twist comes out of nowhere, destroy at least one character, and doesn't seem to make sense. Like those shitty, obviously fake prank videos. At least that has been my experience. Love this description. That's what I loved about the first time I saw The Sixth Sense. I didn't see it coming, but the second I understood, I realized that they had literally been telling me this the entire movie. When someone who is very clearly dead ends up being the villain in the end, or when the villain ends up becoming allies with the good guys, I feel the same way. The perfect twist villain is someone that you wouldn't expect, but it makes sense. It feels very low effort to make the audience not suspect a character because they show, or heavily imply, that they are dead. There is a movie, I don't remember what it's called, but the spirits of 11 people, including one serial killer, inhabit 11 people staying at a hotel. They spend the movie ho-humming about who is killing the inhabitants, and they eventually narrow it down to this one grisly old dude and the main protagonist, and the kid managed to kill him and escape. Then in the dying minutes of the movie it's revealed that the kid was the reincarnated murderer all along, and it was such a FKN blindside. I don't remember the name of the movie though. Not a film but a play and a book. The Cursed Child. Bellatrix and Voldemort had sex and Bellatrix birthed a daughter. I wish I was making this up. I once watched a movie about this girl whose mom is planning a trip with her childhood friends. She graduates, and when she gets home, something comes out of the water and kills her mom. She starts finding out shit about her mom's trip, and realizes they were meeting because one of the girls in her group died mysteriously. She goes on the trip, and starts meeting her mom's friends, but they die horrible deaths. She finds out that her mom and friends were in this kind of boarding school where a really cruel nun took care of them and treated them like crap. So one day, she falls into a tub with water, and the girls help drown her instead of helping her out. So now the spirit of the nun is hunting and killing them. I mean, it's not a great movie so far, but at the end, For some reason. And out of the writer's ass. The girl was the nun the whole time! No. She very much wasn't. She didn't even know her mom's friend had died. Why would she be the nun? The nun was dead and gone before she was born. WTF? Spectre. Hi James, I'm your bro. I wanted Christoph Waltz as a Bond villain. But not like this. Not like this. It's such a damn shame too. I mean, you look at how he plays Hans Landa, and it was like, damn, imagine if he played a fucking Bond villain. How epic it would be. But no, such great casting wasted on this shitty script. Highlander 2, Aliens, WTF. Suddenly, that guy whose name you can't remember turned out to be Grindelwald, but since they didn't even mention Grindelwald's name, it just looks like an albino Johnny Depp as Snow Miser. Wasn't this movie supposed to be about animals or something? I'm a huge HP fan, but I would have much rather the film actually be about animals, not Grindelwald, like the trailers made it seem. Also, his reign of terror was meant to be in continental Europe, so no idea why they decided it must feature America. Dude, I wanted the series be a magical world David Attenborough, like those events do happen, but Newt is concerned with how it's affecting the magical creatures. Imagine the whole film being told like a journal when he roams around America and collects fantastic beasts for conservation. Not only would it be wildly imaginative and wholly original, it would be exactly the fit for someone like Eddie Redmayne. When Bran was named king, I laughed out loud. The one in Hancock was brutal. Wasn't this because the director either quit midway or got fired? No. The movie feels disjointed because they literally stitched two different scripts together. That's what it was. I thought it was the director quit. Somehow Palpatine has returned. The funniest thing about that whole ordeal is the message that Palpatine broadcast to the galaxy to announce his big return was a fucking Fortnite exclusive event. One of the biggest events in Star Wars history lore-wise, is exclusive to a crossover battle royale game that's been milked to death, much like a particular sci-fi franchise we all know, and did not make an appearance in the actual film. When a main character turns out to be the killer. High tension, screw you. Half of that film doesn't make sense once the ending slaps you in the face. It annoyed me in Heavy Rain cause there's a murder the character committed while you were controlling them, but it just doesn't show you. Literally the first it shows you that is during a flashback to it, even though it literally didn't happen. In fact, I think it might even be dumber. I think it makes you control a character you otherwise never control for about 5 seconds while the character you were controlling walks out of the room. Again. For literally 5 whole seconds, and it's during that time they're supposed to have murdered someone and gotten away with it. Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter? Get the hell out of here. There is no one alive who can convince me that someone looked at Palpatine and was like, yeah, I would procreate with that. Whenever this comes up, people always mention that, jokingly or otherwise. No doubt he's hideous, scarred and disfigured even. But something tells me that the morals of the most powerful space warlock, master of evil, the one who's claimed the mantle Dark Lord of the Sith, the man with the desire and means to rule/enslave an entire galaxy, doesn't particularly have anything good to say about requiring consent of any sexual partners. Person shrugging, /U200D, male sign. They later retconned it so Rey's father was Palpatine's son by cloning. Downsizing looked so promising but ended being so disappointing. It started out as one kind of movie and took the weirdest turn. Pacing was brutally slow in that one, too. I remember a Drive Who episode where the moon turned out to be an egg, which hatches into a space whale or some shit. Then you're immediately left thinking, what about the tides, and gravity and everything? And as you're thinking it, this literally seconds old space creature lays an egg the same size as the one it came out of. That conveniently looks exactly the same as the moon. Fuck. Kill the moon. Yeah, that one was awful. I love the show, even the bad episodes, and there's very few episodes I truly dislike. But that's one of them. I'd have bought it as a completely wacky off-the-wall episode if it was a very weird alien planet's moon. But making it the actual Earth moon was stupid. The movie version of My Sister's Keeper just completely removing the plot twist that made the book so damn good. I didn't read the book. What was the plot twist? Greater than the main character wins her case for bodily autonomy. Then as she and her lawyer are leaving the courthouse, they are T-boned, killing her instantly. The book then jumps forward to several years down the road from the perspective of her sick sister remembering her. ! Less than. Why don't I remember that? Lol, I think I need to reread it. The Santa Claus. The movie clearly shows Santa delivering presents to households everywhere. Yet parents don't believe in him and adults are just like, yeah, sure, okay. Santa. Where do they think the free skateboards are coming from on Christmas morning? I have asked myself that in every Christmas movie where Santa is real. Do those parents think it's the delivery guy or SMTH? Your mom's name is Martha too? We're besties now. Not an exact quote, but it might as well have been. The "why did you say that name?" line made me crack up in the theater. So many angry eyes on me. I think of it as, why did you say that name? As in, if you're going to call out to your mom, why the hell would you call her by her actual name and not just mom? Holy shit. I call my mom Mom. Why did you say that? I think we're besties forever now? That one with Robert Pattinson where it turned out his character was in the Twin Towers on September 11th. I think it was Remember Me. I realized the irony while typing it. Tried finishing this movie for months. Never could. Then at 3 a.m. I had nothing better to do and was like, WTF, how is this what I'm left with? Girl, I've hated you for the past 5 hours of this film. Get lost. Guy, cheesy pickup line, you complete me. When I picture my future you are there. Etc. Cue soft piano music during said line. Girl, I was stupid. I am so in love with you. Let's do it right here. What? The guy with the hairpiece was Bruce Willis the whole time. He smells crime. For a series, the Doctor Who plot twist where suddenly the Doctor is this timeless child. They were actually the most unique and important being in the universe from the start. Among other story-breaking issues, it's such a middle finger to the key premise that the Doctor is a nobody that unintentionally becomes important. Just a madman in a broken box. The cast deserved so much better than this mess of an era. I set out to watch the entire Twilight series just so I could absolutely defend how terrible it is. I was actually excited for the big battle at the end. Then Dakota fucking Fanning. Edit, apparently it wasn't Dakota Fanning. Maybe Elle? Nerds. I watched the series with a friend of mine who had always hated Twilight. He was so excited the entire time the battle was going on. Was freaking out that so many main characters died. Said that it redeemed the entire series for him. The tension was palpable. Dude literally screamed what? When it was revealed that it was just a vision. Meanwhile, my aunt is whispering under her breath they can reattach his head. They can put it back on. She really liked Carlisle. She was so happy when it was over. Oh my god, I love this.